As a former D1 wrestler who trains Jiu-Jitsu, I see a number of ways that we can improve wrestling for Jiu-Jitsu athletes. Here are some tips that'll help you improve your wrestling right away. Extension. This principle of extension applies to all positions in wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu. If Jordan takes a shot on me, I want to extend him as he's taking the shot. And so if he got in on my leg and he's got this strong base under him, I'm in trouble if I don't extend him. So when I slide back here, I've extended him and broke his grip. So he lost all his power. Another example from the bottom would be, my job is to not let him extend me. I want to maintain this tight position. His job on top is to extend me. And if he flattens me out, I'm fully extended. I have to carry all of his weight. I'm never going to bench press him off of me. The only way for me to get out of here is to pull my knees to my chest to know that I'm no longer extended. Now I can start moving, stand up, or Granby. The other example that everybody's familiar with in Jiu-Jitsu is the seatbelt. From this position, I'm better off than when his job is to extend me. When I'm fully extended, I have no strength. Everybody who's been here knows you feel powerless, right? Because I'm completely extended, I have no power. So I want to make sure that I, from all positions, keep myself tight where I have power and to not get extended. Keep your base. The concept of base is fundamental. If my shoulders get out of alignment with my hips, I don't have the strength to lift him. Okay, so in this position, if I want to be able to lift, I have all this strength. I can't lift him from here because my shoulders are out of alignment with my knee. It's all lower back. The principle also applies on the ground, and it's more than just having my feet on my heels. This is a strong base here, okay, with my legs here, because now it's like I'm like a strong table. If my knees are together, I can easily get pulled over. My shoulders are in alignment with my hips, and this is what's going to give me the power to be able to move on the bottom. It's very difficult for me to move on the bottom when my base gets disrupted. So his job as the top man is to drive me forward, to extend me with my feet off my base. Because you can extend me like this, and I still have some power. I can bring my extended arms back, but as the person on top drives, they want to be able to get under my hips. Now that my shoulder is so far out of alignment with my hips, I'm in a lot of trouble unless I can get my base back under me. Keep your head up. Head up, head up, head up. You'll always hear wrestling coaches yelling this to their kids, and it's because it fixes a lot of problems. When you're in on your shot, you want to be looking up at the ceiling. This is going to keep everything in alignment. When you go to stand up, you want your head up so that it keeps your shoulders in alignment with your hips. When you're on top, you want to take that away from the person so that they have no more power. Keeping your head up is the first thing that we teach wrestlers. And the reason is because when my head is up, I can keep my base and prevent myself from getting extended. His job as the person that's defending the shot is to stuff my head. Notice now how I'm already starting to get my base compromised, and as he slides back, now my base is compromised and I've gotten extended because my head got out of alignment. When I have a head on the outside shot, whether I'm on the right head on the outside single or I'm going to the double, the job for him, if he's a guillotine person, is to compromise my head position here. This is going to, when he pulls me to the mat, he has now taken my base away. Right? He's extended me. He's taken my base away because he pulled my head. Wherever your head goes, your body follows. And it's the same principle from the bottom, right? I am going to get driven forward if my head is facing down. Even if I was in turtle so I could get his hands out. I can't stand up from here. I can only stand up from here. It puts my base back. It prevents me from getting extended. So his job as the top man is to take that away from me. He can use his own head on the back of my head to drive me down, and then take away my base with his hips under my hips and extend my body out more. My head is getting further and further away from my hips.
And now, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Element. Ever feel like some training sessions are tougher than the others, even though you feel well rested beforehand? The cause might not be what you think. It's often the overlooked component in many athletes' regimes, electrolytes. Every drop of sweat during training sessions robs your body of essential minerals, especially sodium. Without replenishing them, you're left dealing with lingering fatigue and those annoying muscle cramps. And that's why I started using Element, the ultimate electrolyte drink mix. It's scientifically designed for athletes whether you've been training for a while or just starting out. With its perfect blend of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, Element has made a world of difference for me. I've been able to train more and with more intensity, plus I recover better. So if you want to level up your recovery, Element is the way to go. Plus, right now they're offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/JordanTeaches. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinkelementcom/JordanTeaches.
Wrist control. Wrist control is a fundamental concept that can be applied to wrestling and jiu-jitsu. If I was just taking him down or I did a pass, I'm passing his guard, and he wants to try to get his base back up and he comes to his elbow here so that he can pull his knees in and face me. If I do nothing, if I just stay here, he can easily get out or he can go to turtle, right? If I just have a body lock. So if I get wrist control here, he can't as easily turn into me, right? And then if he turns to his belly, then I'm just going to flatten him out. And it's because I've taken away his post. I've compromised his base. So I've extended him. And now I can run a lot more offense just simply by having control over one wrist. So from a standing position, this also applies. People tell me they have a difficult time getting underhooks, right? So a lot of times they'll say, oh, I'm trying to pull the head and get a collar tie. But if he's not in a good wrestling stance and he's upright, right, standing upright like in a jiu-jitsu stance, me pulling on the head is often not enough to get his elbow to come away. So if I get wrist control, right, and I come here and smash his elbow down, this is hurt, so it's bone on bone, now I can get my underhook, right? If I grab his wrist and he goes to back away, he extended his arm away from his body, which also gives me the option of getting the underhook, right? So then now I've actually compromised his base a bit with this underhook, right? This position, his shoulders are out of alignment with his hips, right? So I'm taking away part of his power. If he tries to pummel his leg back to the inside, I can drop back down to the single, right? And the same thing applies. If I get the single leg, he wants to start attacking my wrists. Wrist control solves a lot of problems in wrestling and in jiu-jitsu. Push-pull. Push-pull is fundamental. It's how we set up everything in wrestling. I want inside position. I can't push him if he has inside position. If he has inside position and I push him, I'm going to get snapped. And I get my base compromised, I get extended, I get weak. So you're going to be fighting for inside ties. And once I get them, I push him. And when he pushes me back, that's when I can snap. I push him, he pushes me back. That's when I get outside elbow passes to doubles, right? And I'm past his arm so he can't choke me. Push, pull, I go to the outside single here, right? If he has one of my favorite ways is if he has his head on the wrong side and he's pushing into me, right? I have the overhook. That's when he gets fireman's. And notice how I didn't even use my arm. I don't even need to use my arm, right? So I'm not going to have to worry about getting crucifixed. He's pushing into me, no arm, right? So you have to understand that if I go to just shoot in on him when he's not pushing, that's when I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, that's when I'm going to get choked. So if you want to have more takedowns work for you, you need to set them up properly. You can't just shoot in on people. Push-pull is what brings everything to you and gets him out of position. Stop pushing when your opponent has inside thigh position. One of the most important things that you have to understand is to not push after you get the leg off the ground. If I have the leg off the ground, if I'm pushing into him, I'm pushing into his power. Any judoka or good wrestler is going to get the overhook here, and when I push into him, he can throw me from here. It's even worse when I transition to the body lock, because now he's got both legs on the ground and all this power. The main issue is because as I push, my body is getting extended, especially when I go here. right? And I've lost all my power, and he has all this inside hip position, which I'm essentially ramping myself up on him, right? He's allowing me to load up. You can get hurt really bad from this position. I've seen people dislocate their shoulders, smash their face on the mat, right? There's a reason why you don't want to do it. As soon as you get up, you need to pull backwards. I need him hopping towards his heel, right? Maintain position on the mat. The side body lock is not inherently bad position. I can switch from the single leg to the side body lock. Kyle Dake, the way he does it, is he denies this person the inside position with the thigh when he's coming to the hip. And if you notice, he's never pushing anymore because he can still then kick this through. What Kyle Dake is doing, he's pulling, and he can suplex off here. Now, when you suplex somebody, you don't need to lift them up off the ground all heavy. You can just fall back in the chair and pop your hips. You accomplish the same thing. I've got great position on the mat now, and I didn't hurt my partner, and I didn't hurt myself. Last tip, if you want to improve your wrestling for Jiu-Jitsu, go to wrestlingforbjj.com. Wrist control is fundamental to learning how to control a person on the ground. That's too many controls. Okay.